Well, good evening, this is Hound Dog Steve coming to you on the 20th of August. Can you believe it? The 20th of August. The tourist season is just about over up here in Bogcajan, and of course I've been really very busy, so I thought I'd do kind of a vlog and a walk around the garden at the same time, just sort of catch you up to date on some of the things that have been going on. And of course the biggest thing that's taking up my attention right now is the election. And as many of you know, I'm running in Ward 3 in the city of Kawartha Lakes, and so my signs are just about all out. I've got some flyers going. I've been putting those in as many mailboxes as I possibly can, and I've been going canvassing door to door so that you're not a mystery candidate when you go to the all candidates meeting or the vote takes place in itself. And of course we are going to all electronic voting this time around, and so you will either be voting on your computer or on your phone. You'll be mailed in a PIN number, and you'll take that PIN. That will be your access. It'll be a once only use PIN, and so I think that is going to really change the dynamic, because there are still an awful lot of people in this area who are retired, only use the computer occasionally. There's some people who don't have a computer. Many of the seniors just have a flip phone. Now there are many who can use the computer and use, understand email and can navigate quite easily, but there still is a serious minority of people who cannot access those systems as easily as you would want them to. And I really wish that there'd been a transition period, so we could have had maybe 2 elections where there was a mail-in ballot as well, a paper mail-in ballot, that went out with your PIN number, and use your PIN number with a mail-in ballot. Or if you want to use the computer or your phone for convenience, there you go. It's simple enough, and you could accommodate everyone. I don't really see how a mail-in ballot could be such a huge increase in labour to count, or and I still, personally, even though I am computer oriented myself, I still like the idea of paper ballots for elections, because they do provide absolute transparency, unless, and this is one proviso, that we incorporate blockchain technology to ensure that there is no cheating. Okay, so let's go take a tour of this little garden of mine. So here we are at the front of the house, and these are my 2 running partners, John Snyder, and this is Councillor Ward 2, that's this ward here, and Peter Weigang for Mayor. And so I have been painting the front of my house, cleaned all that up, got all the flaking paint off, and tidied that right up. And actually this year got a pretty good crop off the black currants. And what I'd like to do is kind of have this wandering old English country garden with an edible bent to it, and lots of daylilies. I just love daylilies. So once I get going with my garden centre, I will be breeding daylilies. The poor old sunflowers on the front here are not as high as they might be because of the dry weather, but we do have some rain coming tonight, and it's supposed to be substantial. We're talking maybe 1 inch or 1.5 inches. And as you can see, my neighbour has done an absolutely fantastic job on renovating this old house next to mine. And actually that's what prompted me to paint the front again, just to tidy it up a little bit, because wow, it's putting my house to shame. There you go, more daylilies in the back garden. How interesting. I just unfurled my canvas here that's covering the wood, and here is a tree frog. Look at his little stickers on his feet. I have never seen a tree frog as close as this, and the green canvas background makes it kind of interesting, because you can see exactly what is going on the tips of his feet. And of course it's an interesting colour that he's got on his back to blend in on the on this tarp. Anyway, interesting the things you see in your garden. I've still got my workbench set up because I will be starting that bed down below here that I usually grow my peas in. It needs to be done badly, and there you go, I got those the other day. I really like that idea, those magnetics. And shall I throw in a little boost for Vistaprint? I can't believe how inexpensive Vistaprint is for this kind of stuff and business cards. And as you can see, my grapevines have just absolutely taken off like crazy. They seem to really like it in here, which is good. And there are no signs of blight or any problems. Nice healthy plants. Again, the peppers are doing extremely well. I don't know if you can see how tall those plants are, but they're a good 2 feet. And as you can see, there are lots of peppers. And I can't believe the reduction of red peppers on this little plant. Look at them. I'm collecting them basically every day now, and picking them and putting them in the dryer. Absolutely incredible. So I've been eating peppers and tomatoes. Look at that, they're all coming on together. And of course this is what always happens with tomatoes. And I don't know if you can see in that jungle, but it is just absolutely loaded with tomatoes. So I've been giving them away, I've been doing them down, I've been eating them. I'll be looking like a tomato soon. And here is the other grapevine. It's doing well as well. Pulled a whole bunch of beets the other day, and they were done down in brine this time rather than vinegar. So I am eager in anticipation as to what those actually taste like. And as I say, kale, as long as you keep picking kale, it will keep on growing. And the melon situation is looking pretty good. We've got some pretty big melons here. But yesterday I had a huge cleanup. I got the driveway all done. We've got some broccoli heads there. And I have been picking the upper leaves of these Brussels sprouts to encourage them to grow up, and of course where every notch was, where the leaf is, another Brussels sprout will grow. These sunflowers are amazing. I don't know if you can see the bees and pollinators that are attracted in to these flowers is just incredible. Anyway, someone is hungry because we've got some activity there, pulling those seeds out already and eating them. And that's exactly what I do this for. So these beds are cleaned up, and actually because I'm trying to keep my hands free, I've reseeded them in mustard. It won't hurt, it's a good cover crop, and like I say, we'll add organic matter to the soil. As I say, I knew I would be busy with the election and other such stuff, so I wanted to keep as much of this just down to a bare minimum this year. Anyway, it won't hurt. I will replace some of these raised beds. It just gives me an opportunity to watch this settle, and I really want to work hard on my campaign. I've just finished my speech for the all candidates meeting, and I'm glad that is done. Now I've got 2 weeks to rehearse and practice that, but yes, I think things are going to go very well actually. I'm quite pleased with the programme, certainly pleased with the response I've been getting, knocking on people's doors and talking to the residents of the area. I put some more cilantro in here because I love cilantro. And again, this is my onion bed, and I think I mentioned I still had a little fusarium in there. Just eating up the last of the potatoes. I'm surprised how well they came back. They were just about all in from the dry weather. And of course the raspberry season is over. So I'm certainly pretty pleased with the harvest that I got. I got some great peas off these vines here, as this has proved out that it's a great place to grow. And just looking across the way there, my neighbour there has dug a trench all down that side and taken out all of the lilac bushes and everything else. I got a funny feeling that he is going to put a fence line down there. Yeah, it's quite the view from a distance, those sunflowers. Oh look, now we know who is getting into the sunflowers. When you zoom in like this, it's hard to keep the camera still. It really needs to be on a tripod. But yeah, my little brown squirrel friends. They've got a couple of ground squirrels in here, and have been getting pretty cheeky. And my chippy has disappeared. I don't know where he went to. These guys are a little bit more shy than chipmunks. He's checking me out. What a motivator food is. He wants the food, but he's not quite sure what I'm going to do, whether I'm safe. I tell you, these guys are pretty athletic. Okay, well that's about it from me, Hound Dog Steve. You take care, have a great week, and we will talk real soon in between electioneering. You take care now. See ya. Bye.